This is the Star News Brief from Tina Mombanu. The country stares at a constitutional crisis as the deadline for the demarcation of electoral boundaries nears while the electoral agency remains dysfunctional. With barely 7 months to the end of the set deadline, little or no preparations are underway by the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, mandated to undertake the exercise. The Constitution provides for periodic review of the names and boundaries of the constituencies at intervals of not less than 8 years and not more than 12 years. Get a copy of the Star by subscribing to our e-paper for only 40 shillings by logging on to www.mgazzetti.com. President William Ruto made a surprise climb down on the mediation talks, vacating the hard stance on the agenda of the dialogue with Azimio leader Raila Odinga. The president's team, which had initially insisted on ring-fencing the talks strictly around 5 main issues, made an about-turn on Wednesday, days after Parliament approved the National Dialogue Committee. Ruto's troops had for the longest insisted they will only engage on the 5 issues allegedly agreed upon during a Mombasa meeting attended by the president, Raila, and former Nigerian president Olusegun Obasanjo. Deposed Gabon President Ali Bongo Ondimba has sent a passionate plea to the global community to make noise over the situation in the country, where the military declared a takeover of the country's leadership early on Wednesday. In a 51-second video, Bongo said he is relying on his friends all over the world to be vocal about the dire situation in his country, where he remains under house arrest. The BBC quoted the AFP as saying one of Bongo's sons has been arrested for treason. They may appear strong in public service, but back in the police lines, hundreds of police officers newly diagnosed with HIV are lonely and consumed with self-blame. The Kenya Police Service AIDS Control Unit said this self-stigma and frequent transfers are the biggest challenges it faces in fighting new HIV infections among police officers. On Tuesday, a representative from the unit said nearly 8% of all police officers tested for HIV last year turned out positive. And from stationing undercover sleuths in procurement departments of state entities to changing evidence sharing rules in high-profile cases, expect sweeping changes once the new sheriff takes over at the DPP. Incoming Director of Public Prosecutions Renson Ingonga says his approach to handling economic crimes will focus on deterrence rather than on creative prosecution, and his office will seek to be strategically involved in the justice chain from the start. Get a copy of the Star by subscribing to our e-paper for only 40 shillings by logging on to www.mgazzetti.com.